Welcome. This is James Corbett of the Corbett Report with your eye-opener report for BoilingFrogsPost.com. The idea that global politics is directed by a small group of well-connected elite has long been decried as conspiracy theory by the establishment and their media outlets. As listeners to the most recent Corbett Report podcast will know, however, this idea is now openly discussed and acknowledged by those very figures that once sought to deride it.
You mentioned something earlier that you've done that comes up right in the spot that you're sitting many times by our callers across the country, and that is a suspicion that there is a conspiracy afoot through the Trilateral Commission and the Council on Foreign Relations. You ran the Trilateral Commission for how long?
About 3 years, I think. Something like that, 3 years. Not only did I run it, I helped to found it and organize it with David Rockefeller. So if any of our viewers are conspiracy-minded, here is one of the conspirators.
They call it coordination of regulation. What it really is putting the American economy under international regulation. Yeah. And those people who have been yelling, oh, the UN's going to take over global
conspiracy
government.
Theorists.
They've been crazy, but now they're right.
Yeah, well, when Geithner,
it's happening.
When Geithner said he would be open to the idea of a global currency last week,
yeah.
Those conspiracy people had said and suggested that for years. Right. You're not wrong.
The reality is it's not conspiracy. What brings this group its power is that very often these very different, very diverse people find that their interests align. And when the interests of the most powerful align about taxes, or about regulation, or about politics, or about global warming, they have, wait for it, more power than the least powerful people, right? And there is a multiplication that comes from the networks that connect them together. And so this is, an extremely important component of their power.
In fact, while these types of admissions may be new in our current socio-political context, they have been well known, well understood, and widely promulgated by respected statesmen and scholars for centuries. In a letter to George Snyder on October 24, 1798, first U.S. President George Washington warned that the doctrines of the Illuminati had spread in the United States, adding that the notion that members of secret societies were trying to separate the American people from their government is too evident to be questioned. In 1828, the Anti-Masonic Party became America's first third-party political grouping. The party was formed after the murder of Freemasonic whistleblower William Morgan. The Morgan affair ignited anger in a public that was becoming weary of Masonic influence over their society, and the Anti-Masonic Party was surprisingly popular in the 1828 elections, introducing the concepts of nominating conventions and political platforms to U.S. electoral politics. In his 1913 book, The New Freedom, President Woodrow Wilson, whose presidency saw the introduction of the Federal Reserve, the first income tax, and the proposal for the League of Nations, wrote, "Some of the biggest men in the United States, in the field of commerce and manufacture, are afraid of somebody, are afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so pervasive, that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it." One of the most scholarly treatises on this subject in the 20th century came from the pen of Georgetown scholar and respected historian Carroll Quigley. An influential political scholar whose students included the likes of Bill Clinton, Quigley wrote extensively about the organizations controlling world politics from behind the scenes and the methods they used to achieve their goals in works like The Anglo-American Establishment and Tragedy and Hope. As researcher and author G. Edward Griffin explains, Quigley outlined how these secret organizations direct world politics by creating a network of interlocking organizations able to influence policymakers and decision-takers around the world. You've been watching an excerpt of this week's Eye Opener Report. To continue watching the report, please log into BoilingFrogsPost.com. Available now from BoilingFrogsPost.com.
They arrested me for taking pictures. That was obvious. Well, they couldn't really write that in the arrest report. So they said, well, he was standing in the middle of the street. He was blocking traffic.
DNA profiles of innocent people arrested in England and Wales can now only be held by police for a maximum of 6 years.
The technological police state that we see developing today is the access to advanced methods and techniques of control.
On the ground! Get down!
This technology is not the stuff of sci-fi fantasy, but increasingly a part of our everyday lives. The new Boiling Frogs Post DVD, The Police State, available from boilingfrogspost.com. Including all 4 episodes of the Police State series of James Corbett's Eye-Opener Report, 2 bonus Eye-Opener reports, an exclusive interview with boilingfrogspost.com member Andrew Gavin Marshall, and a Paul Jamiel political cartoon gallery. Order your copy today at boilingfrogspost.com.